Hello everybody and welcome to another video. Today, as you will see, it's going to be an extremely different video to my usual kind. I'm not actually going to be playing a game today. We're going to be having a look at sort of all the information we know about a game. So, without further ado, you can obviously see we're going to be taking a look at sort of the pre-release information that we currently have of Train Sim World, and I'm sort of going to be giving my opinions on it and what I think it's going to be like. But don't take what I say for 100% definite, because I may be wrong. That there's always that possibility. I may have interpreted something differently. Somebody else may have a different opinion or a different fact about it that I've missed. I guarantee you there'll be bits that I do miss, because I've never made one of these videos before. But I'm basically just going to go through the article they've announced and sort of talk about what I think about the game. And first of all, we have the graphic for the game, and this is extremely exciting for me because of this baby here. We are finally getting the London Underground for Train Sim World, and honestly, I cannot wait. It's gonna be amazing to finally be able to do it. You know, it's the perfect game for it. With the timetable mode, you jump off a train, you cross over to the other platform at Elephant Castle, and you wait for the next train to come in. And train comes in, you take that train out, and you go to Queen's Park. You wait at Queen's Park, and then you turn around in the shed, walk back to the platform. You get another train that's then going to to flipping Elephant Castle. You take the train up to Elephant Castle, drive it back, and you know. It's going to be amazing, especially to ride sort of thing. We're going to be able to finally ride a proper sort of commuter, busy, frequent route in Train Sim World. And it's going to be amazing. I can't wait to see what they do with this route. But yeah, before we get too far depth into it, I'm sure you can already see how excited I am at this. I've had quite a bit of experience in real life with the Bakerloo line and the 1972 stocks. So I can't wait to see what it's actually going to be like when we get it in the flesh. I cannot wait. I really can't. Anyway, yeah, let's scroll through the article and have a look. Evolution of Train Simulation. Coming 6th of August 2020. Master iconic locomotives, high-speed services, long freight hauls, or precarious commuter trains, and get creative with custom tools and advanced sequel. Climbing the cab with Train Sim World 2. Authentically replicated routes and locos. Feel the thrill of the high-speed intercity German rail as you push the throttle. Climb aboard the famous ICE-3M out of Cologne. Apologies if I roast some of these names. Take the challenge of hauling a long freight across Sandpatch Grade with the CSX AC4400CW, and master the complex operation of the London Underground on the Bakerloo line. All official licenses, all authentically recreated. You're in the cab and in control. So, as you can see, Train Sim World is going to be launching with 3 routes for Train Sim World 2. Remember, this is a separate game. I'll go on to how Train Sim World and Train Sim World 2 interact with each other in a little bit later on in the video, but for now, for argument's sake, for ease of argument, Train Sim World 2 is an entirely separate game to Train Sim World 1. Like I say, I'll come back to how they integrate later, but for now, they're technically separate games. So it will launch with 3 routes. We're going to get a German route, which I don't know what it is. Obviously out of Cologne. I don't know where it's gonna go, how long it's gonna be. That's all to find out. Sandpatch Grade. Now, Sandpatch Grade was released on PC only, and we initially saw it as the beta of Train Sim World. So we have seen this route before, but from what you read further down the article, Sandpatch Grade is going to be getting an overhaul to optimize it for Xbox consoles and make it better running better on PC. The story with Sandpatch Grade, why it never came to console and PlayStation, is that it was just too in depth. The consoles couldn't handle it, and there was too much detail in it. this is, well, there's sort of several arguments, but this is the one I heard, and this is the one I've sort of most predominantly heard. The consoles couldn't handle it. It was too big, and it basically killed off the idea of putting loads of detail into Train Sim World. So GWE, there was significantly less sort of 3D trees and stuff, I'm assuming, and yeah, there's a story behind it, but basically they're going to do some optimization. And then finally, the UK route, the London Underground. This is something that as a community, as a wider community, or the UK at least, we have been absolutely begging for. Train Sim World is obviously a game where you jump into one train, drive it to another place, sort of get off, do the next one. This is basically what I was explaining before. You jump on one train, drive it, ride to another station, drive the train from there. The London Underground is the perfect environment to sort out this sort of way of playing, because it's such a frequent service, and I believe the Bakerloo line's every roughly 10 minutes. It seems to sort of work on about a 20-minute-ish cycle. So you generally get Elephant and Castle train. Sorry, no, going the other way, I mean. You get Harrow and Willesden train. Following of that, I think, is a Queen's Park train. And then there will be a hang on, I'm just looking at a map. I've got a Bakerloo line diagram next to me. I'm just having a look. It was, yeah, Harrow and Willesden. And then about 3-4 minutes later, you'll get a Queen's Park. Following that, you'll get a Stonebridge Terminator. Again, about 3 minutes later, you'll get a Queen's Park train leaving Elephant and Castle. These are all leaving Elephant and Castle, and then the next one will be Harrow and Willesden. So it's sort of a 10, 15, maybe 20-minute cycle of Harrow, Queens, Stonebridge, Queens, Harrow, and it cycles round like that all the way through and throughout the day, basically. So yeah, there's 3 different runs you can do. Obviously, all of them go down to Elephant and Castle. You've got other places which you could potentially have scenarios terminating in, like I think Piccadilly Circus, I think it is, has a run round. There's the sidings at Lambeth and London Road sidings, them ones. They can put them in. You've got the depot at Stonebridge, of course. Queen's Park, you've got 2 sheds up there. One of which you drive through, which is interesting. Harrow and Willesden, you've got a turn-back siding. So there's a lot of sort of operational interest within the Bakerloo line, I guess. You've got a crossover at what's it called, Baker Street, which leads to the Jubilee line, because the Jubilee line and the Bakerloo line basically used to be all part of the Bakerloo line, and the Bakerloo line had a branch that went up to Stanmore, and the Jubilee line came along and sliced that line off, and the tunnel's still there. So there's a few bits you can do. I can't wait to see what the station models are going to look like. If they look anything like what we've seen so far with Train Sim World stuff, if they've managed to pull off properly underground stations, then this is going to be the best route we have ever seen. If they're going to be like the Rapid Transit, then they'll be okay. But I felt the Rapid Transit could possibly have done a bit more with sort of shading and stuff in the tunnel. But yeah, anyway, let's move on from the Bakerloo line, because you've heard me talk about that enough. You can tell how excited I am. Well, I say let's move on. There's one bit in this image here that I want to quickly brush on, but we'll cover that now and then we'll read on. Why? Why have you done this to us, DTG? Honestly, this is supposed to be the sort of the greatest images of the game to really, really sell it. I have absolutely no problem with the visuals of that 72 stock, just looking at it like this, right? Absolutely no problem. It looks beautiful. Could possibly do with some toning down of some of the shading, a bit more weathering, because some of them look absolutely filthy, but I reckon we can get the reskinners on that soon enough. The Elephant and Castle thing there looks a bit squished, to say the least. But the one thing one thing that was probably really easy to do, and they haven't bothered with, is the numbering. Like, come on, we saw this with the HST on trains in Great Western Express. We've seen it with several other bits. This game has no idea how to do numbering. Where have you ever seen a train that's numbered 3300? It doesn't exist. The lowest one on there is about 3331. That's the lowest driving car. What's more, it shouldn't be that end on the Stonebridge end. No, it should be that end on the Stonebridge end, actually. But it should have the single end of the 3-car unit in front of it, because that's part of the 4-car unit. So technically, if it was a 3-3 car, it would not be drivable because they've been taken out of service. And it's just... most people probably won't even notice. Most people probably won't even care. But it really, really annoys me that they've done that. Also, if we look across to the other side... why is the number reflected? Once on the off side, it says 3300. On the driver's side, it says 0033. It also says that on the side of the car. What? Seriously, GTG. Actually fix your numbering, please. Please don't tell me you're going to launch it like this. I mean, I will drive it and I will play it like all heck anyway. But it's a rookie mistake. It really is. It doesn't fill you with much confidence. I'm not going to lie. And this is a reaction video. And I'm going to give my full reaction towards this product. And so far, I'm loving the model. Who knows what the sounds are going to be like. It's DTG we're talking about here. So, you know. But take your pick. But the numbering, really, was it that hard to get done? Anyway, let's read on the article. I've talked about the Bakerlane way too much now, so yeah. Right, get creative. Personalise your rail journey with 2 brand new, easy-to-use tools. Create your own custom liveries with a livery designer. Now, this is significant. This is very significant. But it allows you to craft both simple and complex designs to bring to Train Sim World 2 local liveries to life. Create your own scenarios with the scenario planner, picking locos destinations before you jump in and take to the rails. Quick drive your way. So this suggests to me that we're basically going to get an internal reskinning program. We're no longer going to have to worry about all this the RW Ace tool, RS Bin tool, GIMP, DDS plugins, all of that kind of stuff. None of that. All that's gone. All that's gone from Train Sim Classic. We're also not going to have to worry about liverying one train and the entire game just going and relivering every single train. It's going to create separate items. It's going to be a moddable game now rather than a changeable game, if you know what I mean. So that's good. This is excellent. This is the right direction to take it in. It's going to be significantly easier. People are going to understand it better. It's going to be less frustrating for everyone. Noobs and pros alike. It's a good thing. I can't wait to see this and see if they actually pull this off properly. Fingers crossed they do. Scenario planner. Basically your scenario editor. It sounds like it might be slightly more advanced. It might be quicker and easier to build a route. You might be able to say, right, I want this train going to this destination at this time, and it will say, it will put it in on the stopping pattern. I don't know. This is all complete sort of off the top of my head, but the way they've called it, scenario planner, picking locos and destinations before you jump in, kind of suggests a little bit more to me. And I won't be sort of shocked if it's the exact same experience as what we've got now. But I wouldn't be too surprised either if we've got something that makes scenario creation slightly easier. And then quick drive your way suggests we might be getting a quick drive finally for this, which is a good thing. I'm on for that. Quick drive and Train Sim World, yeah, that's a good thing. Right, experience a new level of realism. Proprietary, something like that. Simulgraph vehicle dynamic engine has evolved. adding realistic adhesion physics for the first time. Feel the slip of the wheels under adverse weather conditions. Master moving heavy freight and keep control of your loco on steep inclines. Optimize, upgrade, visual fidelity, fidelity. Also gives Train Sim World 2 dynamic skies and 4K sport. Okay, dynamic skies, good. That's gonna be like having the AP enhancement pack in the game. As long as they pull it off correctly, the graphics look good. It suggests that we're actually going to have a cloud. If a cloud passes over, the sort of area that is shadowed underneath the cloud is actually going to cast a shadow. So that sounds like we're going to get some weather improvements and make the game feel nicer. The physics side will be interesting to see, is all I can say. I personally don't know how different it will feel to actually have it in the game. To sort of have the different physics. I really sort of reckon it will feel about the same as what we had. But, you know, it'll be interesting to see. The wheel slip properties sound alright. I mean, Train Sim Classic, you could have wheel slip in the rain. You could have some serious wheel slip in the rain, and it was perfectly possible to code it, but, you know, it might make it easier for creators to do it, and it might be more realistic. We'll have to see. We'll have to find out, because it might respond better to sort of weights behind the loco and adjust the physics according to weather and all sorts. Immerse yourself in simulation. Get clearer information on instructions, gradient speed. So basically, this is saying that they're going to basically redesign the HUD again. They obviously weren't pleased with the HUD. The HUD was alright. There were some bits it was lacking, such as well, I don't really know. It was a whole different world to Train Sim Classic. Let's put it like that. It was very different. In a way, I liked it because it gave you more freedom, and I also liked the fact that you could drop certain bits and pick up certain bits. I think maybe they need to split a couple of bits more up, because that would be nice to see. But yeah, we'll see what they do with that, to be honest. That's quite open. They've not shown us anything about that. New control scheme, give you great choices on camera and driving modes. Now, easier access to external camera mode to enter another vehicle in your consist while physics and simulation are running. So that basically suggests that we're going to have a passenger view, kind of. You'll be able to look through your train as you would in Train Sim Classic, except of course you wouldn't need an inbuilt passenger view because it's part of the model and you just fly in and out of the vehicles as you so desire. So that's good. That's good. That'd be nice to sort of sit in the passenger view while still being able to drive the train. Preserve your Train Sim World collection. Your collection comes with you. You play 2020 add-ons in Train Sim World 2. Train Sim World Van collection and add-ons and for your favourite region, time, diesel, period, electric. You get the idea. Basically, if you've purchased any DLC for Train Sim World, and this is where they come together. I'll talk about this now, I think. If you purchase any DLC for Train Sim World, that will be ported over to Train Sim World 2. There's apparently talk that may not be instant. If it's not over on launch, I reckon that's going to be a very bad move for DTG. I reckon to be able to launch Train Sim World 2 successfully, they have to immediately port all of the content from Train Sim World over. Even if they come back and make the advanced physics upgrades and stuff later. That's what I'd like to see. I'd like to see everything come over and then they go back and update everything, rather than updating everything and then not having enough time to finish it and it being a whole mess of this is in, this isn't, you've got to play this game to drive that, you've got to play that game to drive that. No. Bring it all into one game, sort it out later. That would be my sort of saying on this. So you won't need to buy your DLC again, from what I can tell. You may have to wait for it, but you'll be able to play it in Train Sim World 2. I suppose the scenario editor is a good thing, because it sort of suggests that you could finally get your Class 31 from your Tees Valley over onto your East Coast Expressway and be able to drive it from Brighton to Seaford or something, whereas you could only do one special service. So it sort of suggests that interchangeability with all the trains and how you can move them around and play about with them. That'd be good. It'd be interesting to see what happens. Like I say, none of this is concrete. I don't know any details. Only what's in this article. And below it is a very menacing list of questions. So you can sort of do them, cut them down quite nicely. So why Train Sim World 2? Train Sim World 2 is a new simulation for PC, Xbox, and PlayStation 4 separate from any previous Train Sim World experience, which means it's a new game. We're going to bring Train Sim World forward by advancing the engine and involving the simulgraph. We can add new features and more types of trains. Train Sim World 2 includes high-speed, longer freight for the first time, and sets our future sights on Steam engines, multiplayer, and more. So we've got Steam and multiplayer instantly confirmed there. My theory of why they're upgrading, and actually there's a bit here. I'll talk about that in a sec. New features include scenario planner, in-game livery designer, which we talked about, adhesion physics, preserve collection. So that's the bit where you transfer all your Train Sim World 1 content to 2. New Dovetail Live features including driver logbook, online debriefs, and rail fan shots. So you'll be able to share and do stuff. Nobody really cares about Dovetail Live, to be perfectly honest, but it might be interesting. You'll be able to access your information more easily, I guess, if you're signed in. Immersion features, so that's a bit vague, but it would be nice. You know, we'll see. German high speed, which we don't really know where it's going apart from Cologne. London Underground Bakerloo line, we know where that is. That'll be from Harrow and Wilson to Elephant and Castle. I'm assuming they'll include the entire route, because if they don't, that's a bit stupid. Soundtrack's grade, arriving on consoles for the first time, bringing significant upgrades for PC. So that's what I was saying earlier about it being optimized and stuff. Why are we not upgrading? We need to bring Train Sim World forward. An advanced engine, excuse me, advance the engine of Simulgraph, Dovetail's own, and add new features and more types of trains such as high-speed, long freight, and future steam engines, multiplayer, and more. So, what I basically take this as is Train Sim World 1 was a beta for Train Sim World 2. It was basically sort of the pre-look. This is what we want to go, what we want to show and do in the end. How is the community going to react to it? And naturally, they've felt that the community has reacted in a positive way. Certain members, at least in the community, would definitely suggest otherwise. It's a funny one. Train Sim World is definitely a funny one. It feels a bit more arcadey than Train Sim World, but at the same time, you got the graphics and the walking and all the other features that come with Train Sim World that Train Sim didn't have. So it's a funny one. Dovetail were obviously thought it was successful enough because, unlike Flight Sim World, they've not culled it yet, which is a good thing, in my opinion. Always sort of happy for more content and stuff. So yeah, basically, I think that Train Sim World was the test release version, and Train Sim World 2 is now the full version. I would reckon that you'll have to buy Train Sim World 2 as a separate purchase even if you already own Train Sim World 1. And I think that because the way they're marketing it makes it seem like they want to try and separate it as a different game but keep it as the same game. So basically there's a bit later down in the article that says all of the Train Sim World content will be ported to Train Sim World 2, but the Train Sim World 2 exclusive content, all the stuff that's basically released from now, will not reach Train Sim World 1. So if you're going to buy one of them, and you're looking at Steam Store, you're going to want to buy Train Sim World 2, not Train Sim World 2020, because all your content, all the DLC that Train Sim World has to offer, Train Sim World 2 also has to offer, and more. So yeah, you'll want to buy number 2. So yeah, I reckon we'll pay for it, but to be honest, if it's any good, if it's going to mean we keep getting the content, and I just can't wait for the Bakerloo. To be honest, I'm just happy to pay whatever it costs for the Bakerloo line. I'm that happy it's coming. Probably around 25-30 quid knowing Dovetail. It's a bit of a knockback, especially if you don't have a lot of income. But so there'll probably be a few people that lag on Train Sim World before they get Train Sim World 2, especially newer players who sort of don't understand the difference and stuff, but we'll find out about that later on. The adhesion feature, we've basically said, brings physics of wheel slip and rail conditions and stuff. Feel the slip of the wheels in adverse weather, mastery move and keep the locos steady on steep inclines. So basically, your wheels are going to slip more, depending on the weather and the type of goods you're carrying. It's pretty good. To be fair, trains in Train Sim and Train Sim World are pretty grippy at times. They could do with some more wheel slip. As much as wheel slip is annoying, it would make it more immersive. So yeah, be good. It doesn't sort of fill me with mega hype. It's not the most exciting feature in this announcement, but you know, it's something good, something that's needed, definitely. What routes are locos? We've gone through that. The IC with the Cone Schnellfahrsteg. Like I say, apologies if that's completely wrong, because it probably is. Driving the IC3 and the Talent 2. So I've got no idea how long that is, but who knows. Drive the world famous Baker London Underground with a classic 1972 stock, Mark II stock, on the Bakerloo line, a route requested by a huge number of players. This is what I was saying. The wider community really wanted London Underground because it provides a good environment to really show off what the game could do. And it's good. It's good. I can't wait. Enjoy an epic feat of engineering on a power hall and sand patch grade, basically. Livery designer. Right, there's a couple of details in here. A new in-game tool. So this is basically the start of the editor that they wanted to add to Train Sim World. Be available on all platforms, which means that you'll be able to do it on consoles as well. To personalise the Train Sim World 2 locos and create your own custom liveries. And then a mixture of shapes and layers. Oh wait, easy to use. Utilising a mixture of shapes and layers, it will allow you to craft both simple and complex designs to bring your... So basically, yeah, you'll be able to create a reskin with it. There's not really a lot more to say. It's just in-house. It's going to be more simple. It's going to be quicker. It's going to be better, hopefully. As long as they give us all the correct sort of tools and stuff that we can do. Even if we have to export it into some, as a PNG file, maybe out into something, and then we send it back into Train Sim World and it sort itself out there. I'd be accepting if we sort of take it into GIMP or something and do that. Speaking of which, I've got no idea why GIMP is running at the bottom of my computer, but nonetheless, new in-game tool. Oh wait, no, I've done that. Oh no, new in-game tool, the ability to create your. So yeah, it's basically the scenario editor. Like I say, it sounds as though maybe it's going to be slightly easier. It suggests to me, at least. But I also wouldn't be surprised if it's the exact same as what we already have. Can I make liveries to share or sell? Livery designer and scenario planner do not have sharing options on any platform. So your designs are personal to you alone. Which that is quite a downside, I think. Designers of plans will not be available to be sold. However, you can photo share your creations. Now, I do actually understand this line. These designs or plans are not available to be sold. Dovetail Games are, at the end of the day, a business. They don't want people making money off of their stuff, making more money than what they make. So I understand, and to be fair, I actually agree with that. I mean, normally their EULA allows you to sell, which is good of them. But maybe something will change in the future. But using their internal tools, I can see why. The not having the ability to share is a bit of a funny one. A lot of the Train Sim community is built off of the community. The success of Train Sim Classic, a lot of it is actually from the community. It has nothing to do with DCG. A lot of their routes sold as requirements for other routes. There are plenty of people out there that buy a route not to drive it, but to get the requirements so that they can drive something else that they want. So in order to be able to sort of restrict it, I don't feel that's a very good business decision at all. They need to... This is what I've been saying all along. DCG need to have more interaction with their community. They need to support their community. And they need to sort of push their community forward. You get your community going, get them hyped. You get more sales, because people will want to get more stuff that's been made for free, because they'll want it. It's a roundabout way. It makes sense that obviously to not sell, because selling means that somebody else gets money from your product and also your licensing that you've paid for, and that it's a whole complex sort of process that I don't understand, and nor do I want to understand, because I make stuff for free. I'm keeping it that way. But again, for the sharing, all I can say is we'll see what happens in the future. All I can say is that. What do we mean by immersion? Well, I don't know why I had to say that so slowly, but new immersion feature Transient World includes clearer information on the HUDs, basically. New HUDs, clarify onboard safety system, braking, power meter, and accelerometer. That's good. So if you've got several safety systems, it sounds like there's going to be a separate one for each. So rather than having just one alarm that goes off for the DSD and the AWS and CIFA and whatever else you've got on your train at the time, it's going to be all separated, which is nice. New immersion controller scheme, specifically designed for common function and making more readily available. As well as just removing distracting pop-up messages, pop-up menus in both camera and driving modes. The classic control scheme also remains in use, as in Train Sim World 2020. Okay, so you'll have your current setup from Train Sim 2020, World 2020, if you want to use that. Or you'll have their new one, which is going to be less intrusive and more helpful. That kind of thing. So that'd be interesting to see what that is. Can't wait to actually sort of experience that and see which of them is better. Easy access external camera mode into another vehicle in your consoles. We talked about that. Basically, you can fly into a vehicle and see what's inside it while you keep driving. The best way to fail a scenario, of course, but you know, it's always fun. Streamlined game to start, automatically taking you directly to the next step, last stage of service. So it's kind of like the next scenario feature they added. I don't know if it will sort of be automated. I think they need to make that be able to turn on and off, because I don't necessarily want to jump back into a game and always end up back on the Bakerloo line sort of thing if I drive it, or always end up back on the East Coast way because that's what I've driven the most, or you know, I want to be able to sort of choose what I play before I go into it. But I agree with what they're doing. I do agree with the fact that it would be good to have that. So I feel like you finish up for the night, one night, and you halfway through a scenario, you don't have to wait to navigate all the menus and try and find the exact scenario you were doing and all that. You literally just press play on the game and you're in the scenario. That's a good thing. I like that. But like I say, it needs to be able to turn off. Preserve collection. Basically, it's like I was saying, it's pretty much been covered. What is it? Your collection comes with you. Train Sim World collection will go to Train Sim 2020. 2020 will go to Train Sim World 2. Why are you preserving? It's always been about your collection choice of add-ons. I'm ensuring that you continue to play Train Sim World 2. It would be a terrible business decision for DC. I should probably make this very clear quickly. I'm not a businessman. I never intend to be a businessman, and I have no degrees in business. This is just sort of common logic, really. You know, sort of, what would you do if you ran a business right now? How would you make it successful? You know, sort of stuff. You know, will the add-ons already be? Yes, your purchased add-ons will be available for free to download in Train Sim 2020. So everything you own, like I said before, will be crossed over into Train Sim 2. Will the preserved add-ons be upgraded? Preservation work may take some time. Performance benefits depending on your platform, but they will be there as they are now. Preserved, not remastered. Okay, so they're not actually updating stuff. I understand. I understand again from a business perspective, because if they're upgrading stuff to make free upgrades on products they've already made, they're not making themselves any money, which isn't helpful for them. It would be nice, though, to see them go back to the old content and make it more exciting, make it better, bring it up to standard, because it's going to be like the whole case of the Class 166 in Train Sim Classic. You know, it's a terrible train and nobody wants to drive it ever, but it's there and it needs something done with it, but it probably won't have something done with it because they're not going to do anything with it because it's not worth their while, sort of thing. So there's good and bad in both of that argument. Can I keep the original and preserve content? Train Sim 20 add-ons will remain to continue work exactly as they do now. Uh, will progress and say no. Your add-ons will. So basically, what this is saying is all your data, all your miles driven, your levels, your miles walked, your collectibles, I guess, all of that will be reset to 0. You'll have no progress on it. You'll have to do it again. Which, let's be honest, does anybody really care about the career of Train Sim World? Not that many people do. I couldn't care less, to be honest. I just drive it because I want to drive a train. So I'm perfectly fine with that. Fresh beginning in Train Sim World 2, yeah. To track your progress, Dovetail Live will track all your progress in games. So that's a funny one because people argue, they're recording your data. Yeah, they are recording your data and stuff. So there's a bit of a privacy issue, but they can't really learn a lot from you apart from. Oh, excuse me, my apologies. Yeah, they can't really learn a lot from you other than you like to drive UK stuff. Oh, okay, we'll make UK stuff. You like to drive stuff in the South Coast. Okay, we'll make more South Coast content, sort of thing. So we've already been through that. Will Train Sim World 2 override 2020 in every way? No, they are separate games and both played independently. Like I say, this kind of suggests to me that there's going to be, it doesn't kind of, it does suggest to me that there'll be 2 entirely separate games, which also emphasises the point that you'll probably have to buy Train Sim 2020 or Train Sim World 2 as a separate purchase. What languages will be supported? They'll be releasing. So basically, everything will be the same. Will support be continued? This Dovetail Live, Webmastery, nobody really cares about Dovetail Live, do they? When will the Preserver collection? We're working to bring your collections online from the launch of Train Sim World. That's what I was saying earlier. They're working to bring them online. It would be a terrible, terrible mistake to launch Train Sim World 2 without the Train Sim World 2020 content. It would be a bad, bad move for them. It really would. There'd be a lot of people who are upset about that, I reckon. And as much as, of course, you can still play it with Train Sim 2020, it doesn't bear well with the launch sort of thing. If you have problems on launch, and sure, every company has problems. I'm not expecting their launch to go absolutely perfectly bang on, literally no bugs, no problems, no anything. But to not have that content is a big mistake, I think. Roots and Locos. What's new about Sandpatch Grade? Sandpatch Grade console release is new to the consoles for this release, but has been optimised to update PC. 14 new services in Cumberland Yard, 2 grain traffic, 3 westbound. So basically, there's a whole bunch of optimization and there's a whole bunch of optimization and a few new scenarios which you can take part in. As well as the addition of the adhesion physics. So basically, they're updating the physics for it. Why no streamers? Train Sim World 2 is a large update and needs to be before we can get. Oh, steamers. Sorry, not streamers. Steam engines. Right. So yeah, this is it's the exact same problem that they've had all along. They're trying to sort of work with the new game engine. It's new to them still, really. Though it does kind of make you question because there were steam trains from the offset of Train Sim of Kuju's rail simulator. But nonetheless, they're trying to work on their physics, so we'll get the steam trains eventually. They've confirmed them pretty much from this, but we're beyond that, who knows when we'll get them. Very large jump, yeah. So they'll work on them when they can, I guess. That's not gonna fail the game, in my opinion. It's just gonna be the same as Train Sim Classics. Like, we'll get them eventually. Don't know when. Bit of a bore, but whatever. Can other people create work? We're already working with a small group of talented developers who have made routes and logos for Train Sim World. Now, this is exciting. We've already had Rivet Games, I think it was, release a loco for the German side for Train Sim World 2. So we've had third party. Third party are finally starting to get under the skin of the game, which is nice. They're going to work on this, and we're going to get more. So hopefully, it won't be long before we get a lot of third party content. And while multi-platform development is much harder to do, we're happy to hear from you. If you okay, so that's about if you're a company. But yeah, to be honest, it's probably the multi-platform development that's the problem. Because obviously you're building a train. It's not like AP just building a train for Train Simulator on PC and that's it. They've got to build that train for PC, and then they've probably got to entirely rebuild that train, bar the model and the sounds for Xbox, and then they've probably got to try and entirely rebuild it again for PlayStation. So in order to be able to get other people in on it, they've got to be able to know how to code for every single type of game of console and computer and what, all the differences between them. So it's a bit harder, I guess, than classic. So I understand that. That's fair enough. What new routes will be coming? We released a roadmap for the first time 1 week before the launch of Transcend World. So we'll see it a week before the launch. Before I go any further, the launch is set to be on the 6th of August. We don't know a price for the game yet. We'll find out. But they're going to release a roadmap, which is good. We'll finally have an idea. Because with Transcend World 2020, we've basically got no idea what they actually want to do with it and when. But if they're committing to stuff, it means we actually know what's going to happen and there's going to be less questions. They probably had a lot of questions and they're probably doing their heads in towards it. So, yeah, that's a good thing. Will new add-ons be released for 2020? This is what I was saying earlier. They'll not be released for 2020, but they'll remain on 2020 as a separate game. So if you want to buy any of the new add-ons, you'll have to buy Train Sim World 2, and basically Train Sim World 2020 is going to be defunct, apart from the fact that you can play it. So, yeah, okay, I agree. There's not a lot more I can say on that. Why don't you have this route? The vast amount of basically this is just how they decide. I'll let you read that for yourself. It's all about how they have access to certain bits and what the community wants and stuff. Basically, to sum it all up, they can get anything they want and they can do anything they want as long as they know it's going to sell. So it's basically a marketing point of view. If something's not going to sell, they're not going to create it for the game. So they need to sort of watch what they do on that level. So to sum it up, on the point that they didn't mention, that's basically what they're sort of going on there. Other questions. Will it be a full PC editor? Livery editor? First step towards the journey. There you go. First step. Suggests they're going to be doing more later with it. Hope that many people will want to get creative in Train Sim World 2 and will be able to do that, whatever the gaming platform they're on. So they want to be able to do it for everything. Releasing full engine PC is a far more complex process than original for Train Sim. To begin with, it requires the download of the Unreal Engine itself, and there are a number of unique plugins, such as our own Simulgraph, and others that are critical to both building locos and routes. Okay, that's all I can say to that one. Fair enough. I don't know about Unreal. It seems a little far-fetched that you couldn't just build a route editor in the thing and like, oh, here's your assets list. Use it, sort of thing. And here's your track list. You can use these and all that sort of stuff, But, sure, whatever. We know both closed doors and working with experienced third-party developers, it isn't easy to editor and resolve issues is gonna... Yeah, so basically, it will come. They don't know when. Whatever. We want to bring multiplayer into Train Sim World, and we have a design that thinks to get a great social experience. Social experience. So basically, this is a good sign. They know how they want to create multiplayer in Train Sim World now. They know what they want to do with it, and they want to get out of it. So the next step is to work out how to do it and then do it. So this is a good step in the right direction. We now know there's going to be support for multiplayer eventually. It's been a crucial design basic of the experience of the mode, bring the right roles and communications on online. But multiplayer is not part of Train Sim World 2, but it's on a future roadmap. So hopefully when they release that roadmap on the release or the week before the release date, there might be multiplayer on there, even if it's just a to be confirmed sort of thing. But it's basically confirmed this thing that multiplayer's coming in. Would it be Track IR and Rail Driver? Not at launch. However, we're working on bringing Track IR and Rail Driver PC support to Train Sim World within 1 to 2 months of launch. That's a good sign. Obviously, you'll be able to use a Rail Driver soon. It won't be on launch. I guess that's fair enough, I suppose. Would have been nice to have had it, but they're still working on it, so we'll give them the benefit of the doubt. And they've not promised it to be too much longer after the launch either. The only thing I would like to see is VR support. VR support would be good for it. And VR isn't the greatest thing to have ever existed at the moment. The technology's good. well, the technology's excellent, but there's certain bits wrong with it. Obviously saw from my last video with the VR experience of rolling line. It's a bit pixelated, and your brain doesn't do well with moving objects past your face, so it's funny, but I reckon eventually, if they were to add VR support, it'd be good. What about Unreal Engine 5? We're happy to announce this public domain and the decision 5 years ago to build a hobby on U4. Further game simulation will continue. We're not announcing anything for UE5 yet, but next 3 years are going to be exciting. So yeah, they're basically staying with the engine they are, Unreal 4. There's nothing wrong with the Unreal 4 to what I know. You know, a lot of popular games use Unreal 4, so you know. So if it's not broken, don't fix it is the real word. Windows. So yeah. So that's basically the article covered. What do we know? We know that Train Sim World 2 is going to be released on the 6th of August. We know that it is going to be include 3 routes initially. We know that our content from Train Sim World 2020 will be ported over to Train Sim World 2. And we know that that'll be free. We know we've got an editor for reskins coming, though you won't be able to share them. We've got scenario editors coming, though you probably won't be able to share them either by the sound of things. We know multiplayer's coming. We know Steam engines are coming. We know they're working on an editor at some point. So it's a very, very strong step for Train Sim World. Like I say, I reckon Train Sim World 2020 was basically a test bed for this. I'm hoping that they now stick with this. And any future technology they add, they can add to Train Sim World 2 rather than making a 3 and then a 4 and then a 5 every time they want to add a few little bits here and there. Like I say, the inclusion of the Bakerloo line is the #1 feature for me personally. I can't wait to see it. But yeah, that's pretty much the analysis of Train Sim World. I'll go through the photos that have been shared. I couldn't find them anywhere else other than on the Alan Thompson Facebook page. So Albie Pierce shared them earlier. Super Albs, if you don't know. So obviously they got the banner. A lot of these are used in the article, but you can see them better. Like this. Your ICE. Not a lot to talk about with that. Obviously that is Queen's Park. Queen's Park looks beautiful from that. Lighting looks a bit off maybe, but it's Train Sim World after all. Numbering though, again, it's really, really sort of showing up here. 2400 and 0042. You know, need I say any more? Need I say any more regarding that? Complete shambles. And actually, looking at it, the train looks incredibly sterile inside. They're a really old train. Don't forget the 72 stock. They're a bit mucky inside and a bit dirty, and they don't look great. That looks a bit too clean. That looks very clean, in fact. I mean, I get that they don't want to start portraying the underground as the underground don't want to be portrayed. So they've got to be careful how they do it. The cab looks quite clean as well. All I can say is we'll see. We'll see what it's like. Personally, I can't wait. I'm sure we can fix it as a community if there are problems with it. But until then, we'll see. Again, this is the same picture as before. Oh, I see a route indicator there as well and a signal. Actually, that's a good point. Are they going to do proper London Underground signals as well? Again, the stations. I can't wait to see the underground stations. Can't wait to see if they include the sidings and the depots and all of that good stuff. And then you've got a couple of pictures on the end of the CSX thing that I can't remember the name of. But yeah, that's basically the end of the review. I'll try and keep you updated if I find out any more information in the future about what's going to happen with that information, or what's going to happen with the game, I'll try and do another video. I've been talking about this game for well too long now. Some people manage to do it in like 20 minutes. I've done a full 50 minutes of talking about Train Sim World 2. Like I say, I'll do more videos if more information comes out. Beyond that, thank you very much for watching, everybody, and I will see you all next time. Goodbye!